5:30 after 11 o'clock on the Behrens Show from WJBC. Good morning to you, and good morning, Jimmy Dean.
My friend, how are you? And a very pleasant good morning to you.
It is a pleasure to talk with you.
Hey, what time? Are you on Central Time there?
I think we're on the same time.
All right.
A little after 11.
Yeah.
What time does your day start?
Well, this morning about 6:30.
Now, that's odd for an entertainer, isn't it?
Well, you know, right now I'm wearing the other hat.
Two hats.
Yeah, I'm at headquarters in Dallas. And, you know, up to my ears in meat business right now, selling sausage and so on and so forth.
I hear that pork is a real bargain these days.
It is. It really is, you know, and bless the hog farmer's heart. The price of hogs have gone down, and if we could keep the federal government out of it, the price would never drop this far. Every time there's a federal intervention that deals with the law of supply and demand, something's going to get screwed up, and so there's just those great fluxes in the hog market, and I'd like to see it just kind of stabilize and left to the people who buy pork and the people who sell pork. The law of supply and demand is very functional if left alone.
Everybody's sort of everybody else's keeper in a way, because if the grain farmer is affected, that affects the hog prices.
Yeah, you bet. Well, this whole mishmash, you know, as far as I think food prices, probably started as far back as the Russian wheat deal. I'd like to make one deal like that in my life. We got to get somebody in the federal government that treats it like what it is, the biggest business on the face of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
They got to realize somewhere along the way that if you're going to make a deal with somebody, make money with it. You know, if you're going to sell wheat to the Russians, make a deal where it's a good deal for the American farmer and America, period. Now, that's my opinion.
What should have been done, Jimmy, instead of just an embargo?
Well, well, that's what I'm talking about, way back before the embargo, before they shipped it over. I'd like to make one deal like that. You know, the federal government, you know, somebody's got to learn that they cannot make $10 a day indefinitely and spend 12.
I see.
Anybody can tell you that, and we who are in business cannot operate at deficits that they do. We have to make money because we cannot go out and print anymore.
And when farmers have to pay more and more for gasoline and fuel to run the tractors, they're not going to be able to sell the crops for the same price they did before.
The gasoline situation is about ready to come to a little bit of realism. Once again, the federal government got into the oil business with various kinds of intervention, and again dealing with the law of supply and demand. Instead of allowing the oil companies to remain competitive, they forced them all into the same little slot. And then the oil companies get together and say, well, if the federal government's going to pull this kind of garbage, this is the way we'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they unified them instead of letting them remain competitive.
Jimmy Dean is our guest this morning. We've been talking about music. No, is it okay with you, Jimmy, if we open up the phone lines?
I wish you would.
We have lots of farmers in the area, and I know that a lot of them are interested in your business. How does this whole thing affect your business, your sausage business?
Well, it's good for us right now, to be very truthful with you. But it's not going to be good later on, because when prices drop this far, you're gonna force out of the hog industry a lot of your smaller farmers, and a little later on, the hog prices will shoot up, and those who have had sufficient funds to stay in it and ride the tide are going to make a lot of money with it.
Mm-hmm. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Hello, Sunshine.
Well, that's my nickname.
How's
We love
your weather?
your sausage.
Huh?
We love your sausage,
Aren't you nice?
but we love your music more. Get back into the music business and
Well,
leave
you
the
know,
hog
hon,
to somebody else.
I'm off television due to illness.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sick of it.
ABC got sick of me is what it was.
No, I watched you years ago when your show came from Washington. I was late for work every morning
Oh,
because I had to
Lordy.
see Jimmy Dean.
You mean that old early morning show, huh?
Yes.
You know, that was something. I enjoyed doing that show, but would you believe that was before the advent of tape, and I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning
Yes,
to go do
I
that
remember.
thing?
I
It
remember.
ruined your nightlife.
Just a little bit, but I remember one show in particular you did outside in the snow.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, it started to snow, and we just took it outside.
You sure did.
But none of us were playing with a full deck.
Well, I can tell that.
Yeah.
We love you much. Just sing some more songs.
Well, thank you very much. What kind of weather you got there?
It's hot and muggy, and in a minute it'll probably change to something worse.
Well, it's hot and muggy in Dallas, too.
Do you know who shot JR?
Huh?
You're in Dallas. Do you know who shot JR?
I don't care who shot JR.
That's an accurate portrayal of Dallas, isn't it?
No.
Isn't that the way it works?
Not really. No, everybody's not making love to their cousins and dogs and cats and cows and all that. That's not really.
Well, put out another...
Dallas is an awfully nice city. It really is.
Well, we'd love to hear a new song from you, and we love that first thing.
Well, you know, I'm going back to recording, hon.
Pardon me?
I'm going back to recording, and I had some good news the other day. There are two companies, and both of them are looking at making a movie of the old thing that I wrote and recorded, Big Bad John, if you remember that.
Yes, I sure do.
I have that over here, right on the turntable.
I'm rather excited about it because I always felt that it would make a good movie. And Norman Lear's looking at it, and there's another one that I cannot mention at the present time that they're looking at it to do a movie on it.
Well, my all-time favorite of yours is The First Thing Every Morning.
The first thing every morning.
Yes.
That's a good song, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
Sure was.
You know why it was good? Because it was happy.
Yes.
No particular message, just says I kind of love the world and life and my wife, and that was kind of easy.
Well, I suppose.
You know, there's another song like that, too, Steel Men, although it's kind of a tragic story. It's a happy-sounding song.
Well, no, I didn't like that at all.
You didn't?
But then, of course, I don't like anything I ever did, really. But that doesn't keep it from being a good song, just because I don't like the way I did it.
It's a good song.
Well,
we thank you for calling, Sugar.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
829-2345 is our number. Jimmy Dean, let me ask you a question. Somebody asked me if you know Sid Hutchcraft.
I sure do.
He's our new state farm or fair director in Springfield.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He was good for the pork industry, but we need more people to work on the pork industry. I just went in. I'm working with the people of Checkerboard Square, and we've got some promotions on. And I do believe that the poultry industry and the turkey industry and the beef industry, I believe they do a better job than the Pork Council is doing. And I'm a member of that thing, and I would like to see a little more work done, you know, for the utilization of pork.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a darn good product, and there's so many varying ways, and it's such a versatile product.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Look into it, and you got a lot of hog farmers in that neck of the woods.
We do. We have probably more hog farmers than we do cattle farmers anymore.
Well, you look at the new products that have come on in the pork line, and then you look around at chicken franks and turkey franks and chicken rolls and turkey rolls, and it just seems like that there's greater research going on there. I don't know that to be factual, but it's the way it seems to me. Mm-hmm. And opinions are like navels. Everybody's got one, and I'm still a free American, and I can say what I think, right?
That's right. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Jimmy?
What do you want?
You?
Hey, wait a minute.
Over here.
Why, you know, Mother's Day, what is that song? What is a mother?
I owe you.
What?
I owe you.
Yes. Oh, my Lord. You made me cry and made me happy.
Well, you know what? There's a funny thing. A guy that used to write on our show, a guy named Larry Marks, and I did that thing over 20 years ago.
I know.
And we did it on TV and got a tremendous mail response, and I took it to Mitch Miller, who was A&R with Columbia at the time, and I was recording for Columbia, and I said, why don't we make a record of this? And he said, no, it's too long and too small C and too syrupy sweet. And so I put it in the file cabinet, and my secretary took it out 20 years later, and it sold 1 million records in 3 weeks, you know?
Incredible. 1976 is when it came out, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's wonderful. And listen, I saw you on TV some time ago, and you're just sensational. You're just as handsome as you ever were.
Well, listen, I just may come over there and just... I'll
be your mother.
No, listen, we'll just lollygag.
Okay, that'll be fine,
I
Jimmy.
love you. Thank you, hon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for calling. Jimmy, I've heard, and I'm not sure about this, but I heard you're a son of a Baptist minister.
I was the son of a minister, yeah.
Not a Baptist minister.
No, he was Presbyterian.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the phone lines here. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Oh, hi, Jimmy.
Hi there, Sugar.
You know, I used to listen to you every morning.
Well,
And
you were the one, huh?
Yeah, and I went with a guy that looks just like you.
Well, the poor boy, I hope he grew out of it.
Oh, no, he is nice looking. And every time I hear you now, I think of him.
Well, I thank you.
Thank you.
So you get back on the air.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh,
You work a long time to get to where you can work when you want to work. I was down and taped a TV special the other day, and I don't know if I have the patience to do television anymore.
You don't
I
think so?
No, I believe there's more idiots per square foot in television than any industry in the world.
I'm glad you didn't include radio in that, although that may be true.
I'm in radio, too, and I think, Ken, you may be one of them. So,
I said get back on the air.
okay, hon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice
Bye-bye.
talking to you.
Thank you for calling. 16 minutes after 11 o'clock. I want to find out more about the Jimmy Dean Company and how it got started and all that kind of thing with you, Jimmy. But let me break for a commercial or two. We'll be right back.
For meals that they remember, started right at Eagle. Good meals start with good food, and good food comes from Eagle. Your family's good at eating and at cooking, you're the best. So start it right at Eagle, you and your family do the rest.
A summertime favorite, sweet fresh strawberries are only 99 cents a quart this week in the produce department at Eagle.
Good meals start with good food, and good food comes from Eagle.
We're lots of things to lots of people.
There's more to every package of Prairie Farms dairy products than meets the eye. Each carton contains not only a delicious dairy product, but also Prairie Farms' guarantee that only pure, fresh ingredients go into their package. Each product is backed by blue ribbon quality. The name Prairie Farms is your assurance that you're buying the highest quality dairy product available.
We're lots of things to lots of people.
All right, you're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hello there.
How are you?
Listen, better just 'cause I heard your friendly voice.
Thank you. And oh, I love to hear you sing.
Well, listen, there's no accounting for taste, but I love you.
Thank you.
You're a sweetheart.
And I sing also. I'm an airliner and I sing too.
Is that? Oh, really?
Yes.
You know what? I love barbershop.
I'm a bass.
Are you a... Well, you don't sound like a bass.
Although I sing any voice that there is to sing, but bass is what I'm singing.
But there's a group here in Dallas, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, called the Vocal Majority.
Yes.
They are so good. Oh, they are so good and such a treat to listen to.
Oh, we love our group too.
And the Sweet Adeliners are just marvelous. And I've been to a lot of their concerts and really thoroughly enjoy it.
Well,
and you keep it up.
Oh, I'm going to.
That's a good little chunk of happy America. And
I
stay
hope
with
so.
Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Mr. Dean a question.
I'm Jimmy, and you can ask me anything you want to.
Okay, Jimmy. Well, I just remember when I was little, I used to watch your show an awful lot, and I remembered Ralph the dog. He was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Well, I just wondered, what are you doing now? Are you still working with films at all or anything?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
I do. You know, hon, incidentally, you know who Ralph is now, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the Muppets. That's the first network show they ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And what am I doing now? I work in the entertainment end of it about when I feel like it. And the things that I enjoyed, in years past, I will go back and do again. And I hope that, people don't say, well, that's a very selfish attitude. But I think we all work we work our butts off to get to the point where we can work when we want to.
Well, sure, and do what you want to.
And I don't care to do any more network television on a permanent basis. I enjoy personal appearances once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
The only club I work is the Nugget in Sparks, Nevada, right there in, Reno.
Uh-huh.
And I do that because they're wonderful, beautiful people to work for, and they pay me a lot more money than I'm worth.
Oh.
And so I do just a few of those now and then, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And a TV special
now
and then. And I am going back to making a few records if I run across a good piece of material.
Oh, well, that sounds great.
Okay?
Okay, well, it was sure nice talking to you.
And do eat a little sausage once in a while because that is what permits me to work when I want to.
Uh-huh.
I love you.
Okay, well, thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Jimmy, how long has the Jimmy Dean Sausage Company been in existence?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, a little over 10 years.
How did it come about?
Well, I was in the hog business, and once again, the hog price, the hog market dropped out, and we lose money on every hog that we sold, and something had to happen, and I always felt like there was room for a quality sausage on the market, you know, because sausage had such a bad name for such a long time. And we did a little research and built the first plant in my hometown in Plainview, Texas, and then the other plant in Osceola, Iowa.
How many people work there for you?
About half of them. I suppose combined with the meat business and the offices here in Dallas and our restaurant in Columbus, probably pretty close to 500 people.
And really, the sausage is available all over the country, I would think.
Yeah. There are pockets in, sections of Montana and Idaho and places like that where you wouldn't be able to get it, but the majority of the places all over the country, you're able to get it. We have better distribution in some areas than we do in others, but it's a nationwide product.
I just thought of something. We heard so much about the diethylstilbestrol conflict when it comes to beef cattle. I don't think I've ever heard anything along that line with hogs, but
well, I don't know anything about beef cattle. My granddaddy always said, them beef cattle are fine, but if you want something to pay the mortgage, raise hogs.
Okay.
We ran into the thing with nitrites and nitrates and,
bacon, sure.
Yeah, and products, and I just want you to know that Jimmy Dean sausage doesn't have any of that. I just thought you might be interested, and you also saw that thing in the papers the other day that cholesterol, they do not think has anything to do with heart disease.
A well-balanced diet is what you should get, and...
That's right.
Yeah.
And a little exercise now and then.
Yeah. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. I think somebody gave up on us before we got to him, Jimmy.
That happens when you get Gabby, and I will do that.
Let me try this one. Anybody there?
Yeah, hi, Jimmy.
Hello, Ron.
How are you?
Listen, I couldn't be better if I had good sense, and how are you?
How many albums have you put out?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Well, I think
No,
my mother
I've
has every one
I've got copies of all of them at home. I don't have any in my home that I can play because I can't stand to listen to me. But when I'm telling you the truth. And but my wife, when they are released, she takes them, album cover and all, and puts them in a frame, and we hang them on the wall in the den, and they're all there for posterity, but there's none there that'll play.
None there that'll play. Well, I think my mother had all of them, and I remember listening to her play them over and over, and I just really appreciated them all.
I can hardly hear you, hon. Can you speak up just a little?
I said, I think my mother had all of them, and I remember her playing them over again and over again, and I think I appreciated them.
You had to get pretty sick of that.
Yeah. No, really, we didn't.
Well, I thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for calling. It's been said of you, Jimmy, that you did a lot to help popularize country music. And now when I pull back your records, and I guess I mean this as a real compliment, they don't really sound all that country to me anymore. It's like maybe middle of the road. Middle of the road has become maybe more country.
Well, I it's very funny, but I give a great deal of credit for the success of country music. I hope I had some small bit of contribution there, because I sure fought a lot of battles in New York trying to explain to them what country was about, and they either tried to hayseed it or gussy it up, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And they, a lot of people that produce television shows in New York City or did, they weren't aware that anybody lived on the other side of the Hudson River. And the same thing happens with a lot of producers and directors and so on. And I tried to present country for what I felt it was, a prestige product. And but today I think probably one of the things that has been the greatest contribution. When I first started in country, there was a lot of what I referred to as closet country. They listened to it, but they didn't want anybody to know about it.
I see.
And the youth of today, I think, are more honest than the majority of us were. They, if they like something, they listen to it, and they'll say they like it and listen to it. And they really don't give a damn who knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the youth has, they've made a great contribution in bringing out some of your country artist.
You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Dean.
Hello, hon.
Hi, it's so nice to talk to somebody in Texas.
Are you from Texas, sugar? Huh?
I went to school in Lubbock.
At Texas Tech.
Yes, and I passed by
Texas Tech
Plainview.
Red Raiders.
Yes.
Does that sound good?
Oh, it does.
Well, then you know where Plainview is.
Oh,
don't you?
I passed by your plant every time I went to Amarillo.
What'd you go to Amarillo for? Because you couldn't drink in Lubbock,
No,
right?
that's wrong. I wouldn't do that. My
Well,
roommate.
Plainview was the wettest dry town you ever saw in your life.
Is that right?
Yeah, you know, we're all Baptists there, and we Baptists don't drink in front of people.
Well, you know what I've heard about Baptists?
What?
That where you find 4 Baptists, you'll find a 5th.
Never heard that.
Well,
And in all probability, there's a great degree of validity to that.
Listen, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Isn't that wild? You never know where you're going to hear a good joke.
That's a good one.
And, you know, like the other day, I heard the funniest line. A friend of mine getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been married before, and as his wife had also been married before. And I told him, I said, Lee, I'm very sorry about you here that you and Mary are, you know, divorcing. He said, I don't know why people get married anyhow. I really don't. I don't know why I got married. You know, in my case, what I should do is every 5 or 6 years just go out and find some woman I hate and give her a house. I think that's a funny lie.
That is good. That is good.
She said, where you find 4 Baptists, you'll find a 5th. I like that.
Exactly. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Yes, Jimmy, we've enjoyed you for a good number of years, but I would like to ask you, does the
Talk
word...
up just a little, hon.
Yes, does the word kazoo bring back any memories of your childhood?
Kazoo.
Uh-huh.
I know what you're talking about, a kazoo, but are you by any chance talking about that old thing that I said?
Okay.
We called it a toot-to-do?
You're right.
A toot-to-do?
Right.
Yeah, that's when we used to wait at the service station till they got, in the men's room, when they got all the paper off of the roll, and you could take that core out of the middle and put it up your mouth and go, toot-to-do, toot-to-do. That's what you're talking about, right?
You're right. And didn't you say at one point that that's what you had for Christmas toys?
Well, that's about what, you know, our Christmases were kind of thin, but they were good Christmases, you know. Mom did the best she could.
Right. I'm with you. I'm from a family of 10.
Oh, my. Your folks didn't find out what was causing it either, huh?
No, and I didn't either.
Either your folks were good Catholics or some very sexy Protestants, one or the other.
Well, all right.
Okay.
Thank you
It was
very
nice
much.
talking to you, hon.
Nice talking with you.
Thank you for calling. Jimmy, I'm going to have to let you go, unfortunately.
And Dandy, I got work to do anyhow.
Can I ask you to tell one little story, though, that I heard about and I think it was you that was talking about it on the Big Bad John album. It was all recorded. Not the album, but the song, Big Bad John, that you wrote. And I think there was something about a pickaxe or something on there. Isn't there a story to that?
Oh, the part that Floyd Kramer did on the... Yeah. Floyd Kramer played hammer on that.
I see.
Yeah. He got a piece of steel, and instead of playing piano, drug the microphone over to that old chunk of steel that they use for a camera weight, and the clinking sounds you hear in Big Bad John is Floyd Kramer playing hammer for the first and only time.
Okay. Listen, I'll play it after the other side of the news, after we say goodbye, but...
Nice chatting with you.
I enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody else did, too, having a
Sure hope so.
chance to talk with you. All the best, Jimmy.
Bye.